Hey guys, we're going back to the beer book, right? Now we're focusing on the country of countries, the country I'm biased towards, the country I may even see in my lifetime someday. Germany, Deutschland, the best beer in the world. That's right, I said it. So I know that all you British guys getting mad, all you Belgian. Actually, I probably don't have any Belgian watchers. So, but yeah, Germany, without a doubt, best beer in the world. Okay, and I think misrepresented beer, and I'll explain why. But right, Germany has long been one of the most important brewing nations in the world, and the top beer producing nation in Europe. That's right. Okay, and part of that, and I was talking to Arkham Reporter about it. I think he made a good point, right? Right, we talk about the idea of, like you say, limitations as a asset. Okay, and in terms of here, of course the Reinheitsgebot, the German beer purity law, or more accurately, the Bavarian purity law, right? 1516 in Bavaria was adopted throughout Germany. In fact, Bavaria, right, insisted on its adoption as a precondition for joining the German Empire in 1871. You can see Bismarck being like, ah, yeah, I must. Okay, yeah, you know, old blood and iron. Right, of course, the whole idea was the Reinheitsgebot, right? It limits the ingredients to water, barley malt, right, and hops. Okay. Now, of course, yeast was not known. Yeast was known, but what the role of yeast was not known. Of course, they could not have known until the late 19th century when you had, microscopes and whatnot to see that there was organisms everywhere. Okay, by the great Louis Pasteur. And it's interesting too. The Reinheitsgebot got struck down by some commie European court, right? So it means they're restricting imports into Germany. But for the beer brewed within Germany, Germany brewing generally still abide by the Reinheitsgebot. It's a matter of pride. That's right, and it really is. The amount of variation you can still do with just those ingredients is still great. Okay, I mean, I know Belgium is the opposite, and Belgium shows you can actually make a lot of great beers doing whatever you want. But the Germans went the other direction, and there's plenty of beer that they make that's good within those limitations. And the truth is that there's some German beers that don't follow it, right? Technically, Hefeweizens don't, okay, because they use wheat in combination with barley malt. But anyway, so this is the statement I don't agree with. Beer styles in Germany are not as varied as they are in Belgium or the United States. Well, the United States, I don't know, what you're talking about. Belgium, yeah, but Belgium has, they have some crazy, they did some crazy stuff with their beers, going in the other direction, which is fine. Belgium is gonna have, I don't know, I think one video might not be enough. So the problem is, will I be able to afford doing the beer porn for that? More on that later. But lager dominates. Well, lager is a misnomer. It's a British term for storing, right? The Germans make many kinds of beer, different kinds of beer. So, of course, the Pilsner range. Okay, and you have different kinds of lagers and pilsners, like Helles, Dunkel, right? Marzen, Box, Doppelbox. I showed you these things already. So, of course, wheat beers, right? The Hefeweizen, right? The wheat beer, which is technically, it is an ale, right? It is not a lager. It's not using the bottom fermenting yeast. Using top ones. You have other styles, of course, Berliner Weiss. You have the Leipzig Goss, which is actually a really good beer that I can't find. You also had other styles. You had a Prussian style, a smoked sour beer. I remember having an example of that. Of course, the country it's from no longer exists. Right? Prussia doesn't exist anymore. What I'm trying to get at is that there's so many different styles in Germany that it's a misnomer to just say, oh, lager beer. Right? And just going through here, it's interesting. Of course, the Germans also they created essentially the non-alcoholic or the alcohol-free beer, right? Which is, I've yet to taste one that's good, to be frank. But I keep hearing. Well, I'll tell I haven't liked any alcohol-free beer I've ever had. So And of course, they mix the soda and the lemonade with the beer too, which I don't know. I need to try that again. And they mentioned, of course, in 1930 in Germany, produced 58 million hectoliters, right? From almost 5,000 plants, compared to 20 millions from the British, with only 6 to 10, and none in the United States because of prohibition. Right, the land of freedom, you couldn't have a beer. Okay, of course, World War II crushed all German industrial production, but within 5 years, 2,637 breweries had reopened. Right. So when you say, oh, beer is not important, why do you focus so much on beer? It was pretty damn important, wasn't it? After all this stuff, unfortunately, as you can see though, with the decline of the West, with the Untergang of des Abendlandes, you see the total output peaked at 120 milliliters in the 92 and has declined since. Okay, it's unfortunately going to decline more for a number of reasons, demographics being a huge one. But let's not be depressed. Let's focus on the beer. Let's have something to survive. Half of beer production is produced in 2 states: the North Rhine-Westphalia, and of course Bavaria. Right. So now we're going to the most popular German beers here. Especially the 4 largest German brewing companies were Oettinger, right, which is not in America, so I've never had this. Kronbacher, which is readily available here. Bitburger, which is probably one of my favorite of the Pilsners. Beck's, I haven't had a Beck's in a long time. And then you have Warsteiner, which is okay. Hasseröder, which I've never seen. And Veltins, which is excellent. And which I used to be able to get really cheap back in the day. Like 5 years ago in Brooklyn, you could get a 4-pack of this for $4. No lie, mate. Of course, Paulaner is just below that. Big fan of their beers. And Radeberger and Erdinger round it out. So those are ones that are readily available here. Like I said, the only ones I don't have here are Oettinger and Hasseröder. And you can see some of the beer. Bitburger is might be my top Pilsner, but of course Kotzstritzer, like the Schwarzer beers. Look at all these Schwarzes. Great beer from East Germany. The commies kept this going because it was just too good. So, and these are not here, though I think I've seen Koenig Pilsner, but I've never had it. But I've never seen Licher, right? So we'll just go to Kronbacher. This beer is everywhere. Okay, I mean the Pilsner. Anyway, the Pilsner is probably the cheapest Pilsner you have. You can get a 4-pack here for $6.99. Okay, is it the best? It's not my favorite Pilsner, but it's pretty affordable, and it's still pretty good. And apparently Kronbacher exports half of its exports to Thailand. Interesting. Yeah. Going through here, of course, we got in Essen, you have Bitburger. Oh man, Bitburger. There's just something about it. I love when they say, "Oh, the Pilsners are lighter and in flavor and body." What are you talking about? It's very astringent in a good way. The hops are really nice. Right, so going here, Veltins. Oh man, I can vouch for that one. This one we've never had. Diebels, right? The alt beer. This is actually old beer. This is ale from Dusseldorf. I've never seen this in America. I'd like to try it. Right. So we go Kostritzer, right? We talk about the Schwarzer beer. And of course, InBev hasn't made too much headway in Germany, but a lot of these places have bought each other. Right. And this is funny too. I remember St. Paul. Do you remember St. Pauli Girl in the 80s? I remember St. Pauli Girl. I have a funny story, okay, about St. Pauli Girl. I remember on Avenue Z, okay, and Coney Island Avenue, there was I guess you could say a bodega, but it wasn't Spanish guys running it. It was Arab guys. I remember one of the guys in there telling me that he thought Saddam Hussein was a great man. And he was telling me why. And I was sort of like, I was dumb at the time. I didn't say anything. I was like, oh my God. Well, I've come around a little bit. But the reason I'm bringing that place up, it was right across the street from the public school I went to. There was a St. Pauli Girl poster in the window, right? Produced only for export sale, not sold in Germany, right? So labels are known for depicting a buxom woman carrying beer steins, yes. Okay, the St. Pauli girl. So what I'm trying to say is that in the neighborhood I grew up in, it was a very how do I say this? It was very It was very Jewish. There's a lot. It was a very Jewish area. The Italians. I lived across the avenue from where the Italians were, despite my own heritage. It was very, very Jewish. And so apparently, someone did not take kindly to the St. Pauli girl being there, and uh, I think somebody. I'm trying to remember if they shot it. They did something. They smashed it, or they shot it, the poster of it, and drew a swastika on it. So I guess they were mad about something. But that's just an anecdote from my youth in the '80s. So anyway, this video is I gotta do some beer porn, right? So Warsteiner, of course, is famous, but I'm not a huge fan of it. But I'm a huge fan of this one. This is the cheapest German beer you get in America. Dab, right? It looks like the Rad, right? Oh, right. Dab. People say this is a very cheap beer. The German punk rockers were big on it. My friend Nero looks down upon this beer, but I will tell you that Dab is excellent. I love Dab. Dab is, for the price, is amazing. Okay, it literally is liquid gold and one of my favorite beers from Dortmund in the Ruhr Valley, the industrial area. A working man beer. Okay, for the place that was that the British bombed in the second day of the Battle of France. Oh, I thought I wasn't gonna talk about the war anymore. You ain't gonna hear the end of that, man. Anyway, let's. I'm running out of time. I only have a couple minutes to do some beer porn. And there's this Klosterhaler. I remember the infamous video of Varg drinking one of these. I had one, and I just. Not only are there more carbs in it, right? It's just there's something wrong with it. It's alcohol-free beer. I can honestly say is a sin. It's a sin against our God, to be frank. So we'll continue next. We'll continue next on this page for the next video. I need to get to some heavy beer porn action. All right, I'm already starting with the beer porn because I don't have a lot of time to keep under 15 minutes. But Dab, I love Dab, and it's it's so cheap. And it's got the cool symbol. Look, that looks like also something from the Rad. Oh, DAB, right? Dortmunder Action Brewery Export. Now, how can you say this is an old style? This is like referred to as a working man beer. Of course, the Ruhr Valley, Dortmund, is known for mining and industry. Okay, but how do I describe this beer? It's a lager yeast beer, but it's not as hoppy as a Pilsner. Okay. It's more malty, but it has hops. It's hard to describe it. It's like in between an ale and a pilsner, okay? But it has a great flavor. Okay, this is literally the closest thing to liquid gold. I don't know why I feel that way. Okay, it's not dry at all. It's malty. So let me just start drinking. Yes. Very refreshing, very balanced, very clean. I keep saying that about the German beers, but god damn, if this is not one of my favorite beers. Yes, workers unite. That's right, but unite under the actual, unite under the real thing, the real system that is for you. What is that? Libertarianism. Sehr schön. Alright, don't have much time here. Kronbacher. Oh, I like this symbol too. I like the colors. The red, the black, the green, right? And the gold. I don't know what that is supposed to be, but I like it. Site 1803. And now the beer. Like I said, it's not my favorite Pilsner, but it's more than adequate, especially for the price. And good, it's good stuff, man. The pilsners taste so different from each other. There's a variety in flavor even in that single style. So Kronbacher. Let's go. I can't wait to get to the next vid, but I'm gonna have to do it because I've had a couple. So, Auf Wiedersehen, meine Kamerad.